Greg has been in the community for a long time. Which table were you at? 43. That's a very long time ago. You know, in June we just celebrated our 100th table. Our 100. How many of you are in table 100? Look at that. See, we'll have to make up some extra thing just for you. That was really fun. Just happened to be on my birthday too. We had quite a fun party. You all missed it. So Greg's going to do some transition to get us ready to be sharks. So there's 5 of us, 4 dudes and me. And we have picked 3 people who are going to come up, and they have a few minutes to pitch us. But Greg's going to get us ready and transitioned to get ready. You don't need this.
I don't need no stinking remote.
Here you go.
I do need a mic though.
You need a mic? You want this one?
Well, I've got one on.
Do you want to use it? Oh, you can double up. I love when I do that. I have a headset on and I talk.
Is it going yet? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Go.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here's what I want to do. So whenever we do an event, we always talk about what can we do that really just like rocks their world, that just touches them, that just moves them, that they just like leave here. Well, that was the freaking best event I've ever been to in my life. And we always have that conversation. And I figured out a way to guarantee how to do that, how to move you, how to touch you. So you guys want to do this real quick? Yeah. Okay, everyone stand up really quick. This has got to go fast. I don't got a lot of time. Really quick. Okay, stretch out, do that little stuff like you're yawning and feel like that stuff. Now I want you to get within arm's length of somebody, right? And so here's what I want you to do. I want everyone to reach over and touch somebody on their shoulder. If I said their shoulders are a little bit higher, please. Okay, now I want to take one step to the left. Okay, now you honestly can leave here saying you were moved and touched.
I thought we were
Is that the corniest thing you've ever heard in your life? No! Jeez. It works every time, though. I got you good. Is everyone having a fantastic time? Yeah! This is awesome, huh? So I'm very grateful to Loral and to the team and to be involved in this community and have the ability to grace this stage and hopefully bless you with a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of passion. Start crying. I saw that bit about Kevin talking about passion. He's like, it's so passionate. Was that good? I can't cry, but I can really get passionate, okay? So here's this question I have. What is the #1 skill set that an entrepreneur, would everyone agree here that they're an entrepreneur? Yeah. Say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed, say nay. So we're all entrepreneurs, correct? Okay, so what is the #1 skill set that an entrepreneur should possess and can possess and should have? What is it? Yell it out. Communication, resilience, perseverance, stickability, vision. Everything you're saying, the #1 skill set that you guys should be learning is the language and the skill of money, which is what you're here doing. So give you guys a big round of applause and hand clap. You're taking the time out of the most valuable thing in your life, that's your time, to learn about money. And Kevin said it yesterday, when it comes to raising capital, and remember when a few people raised their hands, and he said, wow, that's pretty good, but everybody should raise their hands, because if you have big dreams, if you have big visions, and you really want to make an impact on the world, guess what? You're going to need money and capital for growth. So whether you use it today, or you use it tomorrow, or whenever you use it, the skill of raising capital, and the ability to know where to get capital, and more importantly, the connections to get capital, are, again, one of the most important skill sets that any entrepreneur can possess. Would you guys agree? Say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Every once in a while we got to throw somebody out of the room. So as soon as I hear that nay, it's coming. So here's what I want to do with you guys. I want to tell you a quick little story, and then I'm going to go into what I think is the most #1 skill set that ties into this. And I was very fortunate to have been born into a very wealthy family. Has anyone in here read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Oh, yeah. Now this is the first time I've told this story with, is Loral in the room? Maybe she left. Because I will say, that book was written about me. And if anyone knows Kiyosaki, tell him to start sending royalties, because I want my royalties. And no one ever knows Kiyosaki, but Loral used to work with him. So, Loral, where's my royalties? So I literally was born to a very wealthy family when I was 3 years old. My parents got divorced. My dad lived next to a billionaire that owned the Denver Broncos. I visited my dad. And the best way to describe my childhood was, when I visited my dad, go out to dinner with my mom and my stepdad and my half-brothers, the bill was maybe $80. When I went and visited my dad, the tip was $200. And it wasn't like we had a $2,000 dinner, he just tipped big because he had lots of money. And growing up, I was exposed to that side of things. And my mom was an entrepreneur, so I didn't grow up with anyone telling me I can't, you never can. So I kind of grew up with that entrepreneurial spirit. But then I saw what my dad was able to accomplish, and the money and the wealth that he had, and I'm like, dude, there's nothing special about my dad. Matter of fact, my dad, unfortunately, was an alcoholic and had a drinking problem. And I grew up like this, and I visited my dad, lived here, visited my dad, and it was just like, wow. So, and then one day, I'll never forget it, I got into my dad's Jaguar. He just bought a brand new Jaguar XJ12. And I got into the shotgun, and he had a big stack of stock confirmations. How many people know what a stock confirmation is? I didn't know what one was. And I started flipping through these, like 20,000, and 50,000, 60,000, 150,000, 200,000, 100,000. And I'm like, whoa, and it was like that thick. I'm like, what are all these? He goes, oh, they're stock confirmations. I'm like, what's a stock confirmation? He goes, well, that's a receipt where I bought stock. And we made some money. I'm on my way to my tax account to get my taxes done. I'm like, well, how much did you make? He goes, oh, I don't know. It was somewhere between 5 and 10 million. This is 1980. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. I was like, man, I want to do that. Dad, can you show me how to do that? Like, can I do that? He said, well, if you have any money saved up, I'll get you a deal. This is honest God's truth. So I had $2,000 saved up from working construction, pounding nails, after dropping out of college, by the way. And my dad got me into a deal where I put $2,000 in. 4 months later, I sold out at 7 times my money. So I turned my $2,000 into $14,000, and I was like, woohoo! I'll be me a stock magnate. I'll go up there and buy and sell stocks. That's what I'm doing for a living. That's awesome. So I ended up getting my securities license, and I became an investment banker. And because I was Dirk Ryder's son, I got these deals. And I refer to it as the Good Old Boy Network. And the Good Old Boy Network is a very interesting phenomenon. Because do you think in the investment banking world that I could have got into a deal with a measly $2,000 that was going to go 7 times in 4 months? My dad put in $100 grand, and I paid back my 2 off his 100. He made $700,000 in 4 months. And I'll give you guys another example. How many in here got a call from some investment bankers to invest in Google after Yahoo turned Google down? Anybody? You know who got the call? You know who was in that Good Old Boy Network? Tiger Woods. You know how much Tiger Woods made on his investment in Google? 800 times his money. That's a Good Old Boy Network, huh? So, as the story goes, I'm in this Good Old Boy Network, and my dad was bringing me deals and started making lots of money, and I got into the investment banking, and I raised money for Home Shopping Network. How many people remember Home Shopping Network? And it's so cool to be in business with Kevin and kind of being around this, because I remember calling people up going, Ellen. And you know, back in those days, the Wall Street guys would tell me to get on their floor and go, I gotta whisper. I'm on the floor, I don't want the other brokers to hear this, but I got this deal. It's called Home Shopping Network. And then I'm telling you, they're going to sell stuff on the television, 724, 369. And people are like, Ryder, you're crazy. No one's going to buy anything off the television. So those are those things, those we create what I call torrential downpour economics. And you think about the $600,000 that we raised from Home Shopping Network back in the early 80s. The billions and billions and billions of dollars that's contributed to our economy worldwide. The accountants, the bookkeepers, the shippers, the manufacturers, etc., etc., etc. You guys understand what I'm saying? Say aye. Aye. You guys follow me? Say aye. Aye. Okay, cool. So it's very important that we support one another, and we are that Good Old Boy Network that my dad had. Do you guys get that? Do you guys get what Loral's doing here? Do you guys get what this community is about? And if you don't play, you don't partake, you don't leverage the people and the relationships in this room, guess who is at fault? Put the mirror in front of your face, right? We should help each other. We should roll out our little Rolodexes. The idea that you have guys like Kevin Harrington, accessible like he is amazing. Now, I don't want to put myself in that pedal, but I want to. I want to be accessible. I want to be here. We want to help. And there's other people at every one of these tables that can do stuff like that. So I kind of want to end with this before we go into our Shark Tank. And the biggest thing to me, as a guy that's done just hundreds of millions of dollars of angel investing and worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, everything from corporate finance to capital formation to term sheets to just everything you could think of. is a big word called commitment. And I want you to look at yourself, and I want you to think about this. How committed are you to yourself? How committed are you to your family? How committed are you to your business? How committed are you to your vision and your dream? What will you compromise? What will you do? What lengths will you take to accomplish what you're doing? Now, as an investor, this is very important to me. And I have a few key questions I'm going to share with you that I ask when looking at investing in a deal that reveals to me the commitment level immediately at one level. And one question is, how much money have you put in? If you tell me you haven't put any money in, and you have money, you're done. Right? Or I might ask, how much money has your friends and family put in? And if you tell me, oh, I would never ask my friends and family for money. My response will be, you can't expect me to ask my friends and family for money. If you won't do it yourself, you're done. I can't tell you how many business plans we threw in the trash can in the first 30 seconds of a meeting because they answered those two questions right. And the problem with investors, you don't get a second chance. You don't get to come back to the table and make your pitch, make your presentation right the second time. Get it right the first time. So commitment is huge. Commitment is huge. And so I tried to come up with a story or a thought process just to really give you an idea of a commitment. I want to teach one last thing and I'm going to tell you the story. So I met a gentleman, he was the CEO of a billion-dollar division of a multi-billion-dollar company. And he told me they spent $1 million studying commitment within their general managers. I'm like, you spent $1 million studying commitment? I'm like, what did you find out? He said, well, we found out that there's levels of commitment. How many people really consciously recognize there are levels of commitment? Raise your hand. He said that if you're 70% committed, you have like less than a 20% chance to succeed. If you're 80% committed, you have like a 30% chance. And as you went up the ladder, it wasn't until you were 100% committed that you had a reasonable chance, over 50%, to succeed. And think about that. Think of the depth of that. And ask yourself, am I really committed? Am I really committed? Is this something I really want to do? It's so important. I can't tell you how important it is. And again, the commitment to this community, I know there will be people who leave here and they don't have the commitment to this community. They don't have the commitment to leveraging this community. They don't have the commitment to helping this community. They don't have the commitment to serving this community. And guess who's going to pay for not having that commitment? Right? So let me give you one example of commitment. So I've been married 28 years. Thank you. And I've got 5 incredible children. And we got married, my wife and I went on one of those donkey rides into the Grand Canyon. Anyone ever done that? There's always a couple. So we're on these donkey rides, and we're riding down the Grand Canyon, and we're the last two. My wife's in front of me. As we're going down to this canyon, I hear my wife say, that's her little donkey that she's on kind of slipped and kind of like, kicked some dirt up, kind of like stumbled. She had to hold on. And I heard her say, that's once. I'm like, what'd you say, honey? That's once. What's that? Hello? She's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. She knew I heard her say that's once. But I'm like, what do you mean that's once? What's that mean? You know, again, you're newlywed. You don't want to make any, you don't want to cause any problems on your day after your wedding, right? So we're going down a little bit further down into this thing. And sure enough, that donkey that she was on slipped a second time. And I heard her say, that's twice. And I'm like, why'd you say that's twice? Why did you say that? What's that mean? That's once, that's twice. What? And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't bother. I'm like, are you okay? I'll get you a new donkey. What do we want? What's going on here? She's like, no, don't worry about it. So, okay, so we're going down. We're almost to the bottom. And sure enough, her donkey slips the third time. She stops that donkey. She gets off the donkey. She pulls out her purse, or backpack. It's a backpack. She pulls a gun out. BAM! She shot that donkey dead right in front of my eyes. I couldn't believe it. Like, God, what are you doing? You just shot that donkey! She looked at me real serious. She goes, that's once. That's how you stay married 28 years, people. Being committed to this community, okay? Say aye. Okay. So, I got to do one more thing for my social media real quick, okay? Can you guys do this for me? Did you guys like that story?
Yeah. Okay. Are you sharing it now?
I got this. Watch it. Say, well, here's what I'm going to do. Now, this is what you do when you have the opportunity to have a stage, because she can't stop me now. It's too late. So, I'm going to push play. Or, hey, this is Greg Ryder, and I'm on stage at the Ultimate Millionaire Summit. where the rock star Loral Langemeier is bringing down the house and teaching entrepreneurs this valuable skill set in the world, and that's money. And I just was able to give them a short little speech about commitment, and I want them to tell you how well I did, and if they really like it, they're going to give me a big round of applause. So everyone, did you guys like my speech on commitment?
All right, just do mic check really quick. I'm on. Kevin's on?
Test.
You're going to share, and then you share, and you're in charge of now what we're doing. So, this is our second year of doing this. Are you guys excited? Yeah! We're going to teach you how to sit up here and evaluate. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 pitches. Greg has set them up. So, they each have 3 minutes to pitch. And then we're going to give a little bit of feedback. And
we decided Elliot was going first, didn't we?
So where's Elliot?
Oh, right there.
Let's rock and roll.
Okay, so let's keep.
You're going to go stand right over there, and you're going to pitch us directly. Give him a hand. Come on. Come on, go stand over there.
So kind of to set the stage, the idea is this is educational, and work on the language, practice the pitch, and we're going to really kind of give a lot of good feedback to benefit everybody in this room.
Am I going to know when the 3 minutes is up?
Yeah, so can you guys do a gong thing back there?
Am I going to know when it's
That's really a nice one. I like Ken's big bold one better. That one. Pardon? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm Loral. You know Kevin. Aaron Young. Aaron, tell him, a minute about you. Aaron owns Laughlin and Laughlin, so who does all your entities, and who you've been talking to is him and his team. And what's your expertise to be up here besides entities?
I have some public company background. I was CEO of a public company. I was vice president of sales of another public company, and we've raised some equity over the years, so I've just been through this before.
And Fred who's a partner of mine. We've talked. He's also. These 3 are going to be your next breakouts. So Aaron will be talking about advanced entity structuring. We're assuming by now you all are companies, and if you're not, you're going to be a company. So he will do entities, and then Fred's going to talk about franchise as well as NutriHealth, who's going to kind of wrap up. But Fred, talk a little bit about your expertise in being up here.
So I've worked for a few Fortune 500 companies, raised, $30 or $40 million for private investment equity. CEO of a number of different companies, vice president of sales for a number of different companies. So I've seen a lot of pitches, given a lot of pitches, been on the road shows.
And you know Greg. All right. So Elliot, you guys ready? 3 minutes?
Ready? Go!
How you doing, everybody? My name is Elliot Grosspard, CEO and founder of Supply Mart.
Yep.
That's what you're
So,
I want to talk to you about sales. That's what this conference is about, right? Information builds rapport. Rapport builds relationships. Relationships then get turned into sales. I'm a small business owner. When I have a meeting, before I go to that meeting, whether it's an interview with an investor, a client, a prospective client, I'm on Google spending 20 to 30 minutes going to their Facebook profile, LinkedIn profile. I want to learn as much as possible about you. So when I go there, I'm as prepared as I possibly can, as if I'm going to a war. Why? Knowledge is power. Now let me talk to you about a scenario that happened to me. Imagine a prospective client calls you. You've been after them for months. And they call you out of the clear blue sky, finally returning your call. You answer the phone, and all of a sudden, a window pops up on your phone, has the Facebook profile, the last thing that they put on their timeline. Their LinkedIn profile shows you that it's coming up their 5th year anniversary working at the hospital that they're working in. Instagram, you now have information on that caller, on that person, that prospect, that shows that they just had puppies and now they need a place to find all these wonderful puppies and their home. Zika does that. It gives you the instant information on your tablet, on your PC, on your smartphone. Zika is Hebrew for rapport. Communicate measures that we have taken in preparation of coming up here yesterday. patent was filed, so we have a provisionary patent. It's already filed as of yesterday morning. The domain name zika.com is already registered. There's going to be 3 levels. Level 1 is an executive level. Executive level gives you not only unlimited social media accounts that you can want to sign up for, it also gives you links to Inc.com, Entrepreneur Magazine, articles in Fortune and Forbes that talks about that caller, that prospective person that you are emailing, responding to, you're on the phone with, instantaneously. You can customize it that anything within the industry pops up. So you have valuable information right there to have a really professional conversation and build that rapport. And the executive part of it is that there's no ads. The basic level, you only get to choose 3 social media accounts. There are ads, and you don't get to use articles. And then there's a free, only 2 social media accounts can be synced to their profile. Now, you try asking anybody here out of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, that they're going to choose out of the 4 or 5 most popular ones that they want to get information in preparation for this meeting or call. It's going to be very difficult for them to make that decision. Elliot Grossbard, my app is called Zika. It means rapport, and you need this app.
So what do you want? Giving you back. So what do you want from us? So, I mean, money, equity, cash, brains, Rolodex.
I can tell you after the show what I want. I want your experience. I want your connections. This is an amazing idea that I would buy and invest. I would invest if I had the money. I don't have the money, Greg. I would buy it because it helps me convert relationships into sales. I need the connection for somebody like Magellan.
Is it developed?
It is not developed yet.
So this is just an idea right now?
It's an idea with different modifications, all included, including a standalone version that's downloaded, so it doesn't have to be instantaneous. Instead of spending 20 to 30 minutes ahead of time, like I'm wasting all the time in preparation for a meeting with Greg or with Kevin or with Aaron.
I get it. But what do you want? Do you want money?
I want money in order to get the right development company, that I don't know who that is. I know some of you do. I'm the visionary. I'm the leader. I've led sales teams. I know as a salesperson who is in the trenches on a daily basis, and also as a small business owner, this is key. I need you to take my vision and make it a reality.
So let me comment. And by the way, you said we're allowed to get a little constructive, okay? So.
Oh, no, I asked. He's
Here we
behind
go.
That's what I tell my physical therapist.
First of all, I think the idea is great, okay? But, and I know this is all, you didn't probably know you were pitching until about an hour ago, so it's, you know, in fairness to yourself, it's tough to come in prepared, but the reality is this, the idea is good, but what you really need to put together is you say, what we need to do is this and this and this. It's really what you have to do.
You get the whole situation.
You need to put together, like, go to the developers and find out what's it going to cost to make it a reality, so that you can say, okay, I not only have the idea, but here's a bid from XYZ company that says for 20 grand or for 120 grand, or maybe it's $1,200,000 to develop this. This is what it's going to cost to make this a reality. And now, so I need that money, and then secondly, now I need to market it, okay?
Right.
So I need you to do, so you got to be more finite in, because right now I would say I pass, because I have no idea if this is a $20,000 deal or a $1 million deal in terms of development, marketing, etc.
And then you got to show